In the school counseling office, we often get lots of questions about community service hours. We're hoping that this video helps to answer those questions for you. In order to graduate, students must complete a minimum of 20 hours of community service. Community service is also one of the requirements for juniors and seniors to have privileges, such as parking decals, having periods off campus, or participating in special activities. Many of our students look to earn and document more than 20 hours of community service, for example, for certain scholarships. Community service is defined as non-paid volunteer work with a nonprofit agency. This is really important. In order for your work to be counted as community service, you cannot be paid, and the organization that you are working for must also be nonprofit. It's the difference between working for a soup kitchen, providing free meals to the hungry, and working for McDonald's. If you work for McDonald's for free, you are not completing community service. There is an owner of that restaurant who is making a profit off of the food that they sell. However, if you work for free for a community soup kitchen, there is no one making a profit off of the food that is served there. You can begin accumulating service hours as early as the summer prior to 9th grade. So if you've completed any hours after middle school, you are free to document those and submit them. Keep in mind that your service should benefit the community at large. Working for an individual is not acceptable. So while it's kind of you to help your neighbor by mowing their lawn for free, it is not community service. Again, you should be working with a nonprofit organization. Students are always asking for suggestions of places to do community service. Here are some examples that would count as community service. Religious institutions are all nonprofit. While you do not get hours for attending service, if you help out at a local church, synagogue, mosque, or other religious institution, you can submit those hours. Government institutions are all nonprofit. Many Park Vista students earn hours volunteering at places such as public libraries and parks. You could also volunteer at city and county events, such as festivals, or at local public schools. For example, some Park Vista students return to their former middle school to volunteer. And then, of course, you're always welcome to volunteer at community nonprofit organizations. Some examples would include Habitat for Humanity or Big Brothers Big Sisters. Here are some examples that would not count as community service. Working for private businesses. Again, if the organization is not a nonprofit, but rather someone owns the business and makes a profit off of the work, it is not considered community service. Another example that does not count as community service would be rehearsal, practice, or meeting time for extracurriculars. Participation in an extracurricular is not community service. However, if your club participates in an activity on behalf of a nonprofit, such as volunteering at a pet adoption event, that would work. Also, if you do extra work outside of the activity, for example, setting up the equipment before practice begins, those hours could count. Finally, the school district does not award community service hours for the donation of goods. A common example of this is animal shelters. There are animal shelters in our area that offer to sign community service logs in return for the donation of pet food or other supplies. However, again, the school district of Palm Beach County does not award credit for those hours. There are lots of ways to find community service opportunities in our area. The United Way and Volunteer Match both have websites with search features. On the Park Vista School Counseling webpage, we have a long list of local nonprofits who are often in search of volunteers. You should also be checking our school counseling weekly update that we send to all parents and students on Fridays. We regularly make announcements about upcoming volunteer opportunities in that update. You can check with your teachers, club sponsors, or coaches to see if there's any extra help that they need. You can also think about the nonprofit organizations that you may already interact with. For example, if you hang out at West Boynton Park, you might ask someone there if they have opportunities coming up. Now we're going to look at how to submit your community service once you've completed the work. Your first step is to fill out the community service log completely. You can find a copy of the community service log on our Park Vista School Counseling webpage. You should completely fill out the paper log, including a supervisor's signature as well as your own signature. Once it is completely filled out, you will need to either scan the log or take a picture of it. Community service logs are submitted through SIS. You should be logged into your student portal, and then you want to click Forms in the left-hand column. When the community service submission page opens, it defaults to the online submission form. You will fill out this online form completely. As you scroll down, there's a place for you to click to sign. You will also see at the very bottom there's a button for you to click to upload your scan or picture of the paper log. Finally, you will click Submit. You will receive a notification to show that your form has been submitted for review. Once you have submitted your paper log through the online form, our Community Service Coordinator will review. You will be able to verify the status of your submission at any time. To view the status, you will again log into SIS and click on Forms, but this time you will select History from the bar at the top of the page. Your history will show if your hours have been approved or denied. If they have been approved, there is nothing more that you need to do. If they have been denied, you can click on the form number to get more information. When you click the form number, it will open the original form that you submitted. You will then scroll down to the bottom. Next to the box where you uploaded your completed log, you will see a comment section. This is where you will see a note explaining why the hours were denied. Here are a few tips about submitting hours. You should submit one online form for each completed paper log. The paper log allows you to document more than one community service activity or date. You then total the hours at the bottom of the log. You should submit one online form and note the total hours from the bottom of the log. PDF or JPEG are the preferred formats for submitting the paper log online. Please do not submit an HEIC file. School district computers do not have the capability of opening these files. If the Community Service Coordinator cannot open the file, your hours will be denied. The most common reason that hours are denied is because the uploaded log is either not complete or not attached at all. Another common reason is that the work completed was not for a nonprofit organization. A final note is that paid work hours can be submitted for Bright Futures consideration, but paid work hours do not count for graduation. If you are submitting paid work hours for Bright Futures only, you should complete the Bright Futures paid work hours log, not the community service log. However, you will upload the paid work hours log through the same SIS online form. Just be careful to note that you are submitting work hours and not service hours. And again, there should be one online form for one paper log, meaning you should not be submitting community service and work hours on the same online form. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this presentation answered a lot of your questions about community service submissions. This QR code will take you to the Community Service Instructions page on the school counseling website. It would be a good idea to save this link. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to see your school counselor before school, during lunch, or after school any day. Thanks, Cobras.